very good to meet you and very pleased you could give us the time here. I know it's a busy show for you. Could you just say who you are and what your role with the club is?
Yes, of course. I'm Grenville Chamberlain, chairman of the Caravan Club, and have been now for the last 5 years, and I'm very privileged to hold such a position.
The club is big at the show, isn't it? I mean, you're one of the key people here. And what gives you the commitment to the Manchester show that you guys have clearly got?
Well, the north of England is a very important centre for caravan. Some of our most popular sites are up here. Many of our members live in the sort of Manchester, Leeds belt and all around Lancashire, Yorkshire. So it's a very popular area for caravanners and for caravanning. And one of the things that we aim to do here is to come and help them, support them, give them information about holidays and touring. And we've had a lot of interest. So it's been a very, I think, a good show. Sadly, of course, the weather's not been on our side. And the weather forecasters who now seek to be, I think, perhaps personalities in their own right, have been telling everyone that there's 2 to 5 centimetres of snow, which in reality is very little. But they put it across as though it's dire and it's a catastrophe. So I'm afraid that that's impacted upon the attendance, and I'm sorry about that, because I'm sure everyone that would have come here would have enjoyed a very good show with a lot of good product, a lot of interesting product, and some fascinating new developments. So I think it's been a good show, challenging the circumstances.
We think the move actually from the GMX Centre as was to here was a good one. Would you agree with that?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. And of course, it has an attraction for the ladies. So if the gentlemen want to come here and look at the caravans and motor caravans, the ladies, of course, have got the added attraction of Trafford Park just across the roadway.
Well, there is that.
It could be good news or it could be bad, whichever way you look at it.
I think some of our male viewers may not. Thank you for mentioning that. Their credit card gets a bit of a walloping, but you're absolutely right. That is just there if people aren't.
I think the other thing is, if you live in the north of England, then the cost of travel today, with fuel prices being what they are, is not cheap. So to be able to go to a local show where you can drive to, park outside the door, walk in and come and see the full range of products, I think is excellent. And clearly people vote with their feet, and there's a lot of people here today.
Yeah. And you were here last year, as I said earlier. Obviously you wouldn't be back here if the Caravan Club itself hadn't got a lot out of it. What does the club get out of it? What were the results like last year?
Well, we of course join up a lot of new members, but I think more importantly we help our existing members. I've had a lot of people ask me about touring abroad this year. There does seem to be a theme running through this, that a lot of people, I think, because of the cost of fuel over here, and perhaps because of the strength of sterling against the euro, are contemplating travelling on the continent for their holidays this year. So I've had a lot of interest in that. I've seen a lot of inquiries about our national being held at Belvoir Castle in May, and centre rallies too. So all sorts of different interests, from low-cost caravanning that some people are interested in, through to full continental tours. And I've spoken to a gentleman just a few minutes ago who's going abroad for 3 months.
Oh, lucky him.
And only in my dreams could I contemplate that.
Do you find it has an impact on membership and recruitment?
Yes. I mean, there's no doubt. I think there's quite a number of new families who are clearly coming into caravanning for the first time, and having been and bought their caravans, they come to us for not only an insurance quote, but also to join the club to take advantage of the fabulous sites that we've got right across the country. With our 200 sites and 2,500 CLs and the centre rallies, there's plenty of places for people to go.
So, something we get, I don't know if you hear this in the Caravan Club, something that we get in the media from keen caravanners is not feeling that the media are critical enough of the main British providers of caravans, but do you see it as a role of the club to stand up for the individual members against the big sort of interests?
Well, the club does an awful lot of work in terms of trying to encourage manufacturers to improve their quality. We've done a quality and reliability survey now, studying many different makes and types of caravans over the last few years, and I think it's made a difference. I think if you look around here now, there are some very good, sound, reliable caravans. I'm sure that there are still improvements that can be made. I personally would still like to see the efforts continue to reducing the weights. Tow cars are getting lighter, tow cars are getting smaller. And if you look at the recent data that's been published, most of the popular cars that are being sold new today are small ones. So when it comes to finding a second-hand tow car, it's not going to be so easy in the future. So we perhaps we may have to think about giving up some of our luxuries in the fullness of time and bringing the weights down. But that is very much a focus for the future, I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean that's very much what we've been hearing from the manufacturers, that they understand there is a need to move lighter, and I think the English, the British public have to understand that means you can't tow your house with you. Something has to give, right? There's no two ways about that. Again, looking towards the future, the internet, I see the club moving more and more into the internet. Do you think that's a very big part of future developments for all of us?
Yes. I mean, 85% of our members now have registered email addresses with the club. We see huge numbers, most of our bookings for sites and more continental bookings are made on the internet. We've got lots and lots of downloads up there for all sorts of information, and there is no question that digital is our future. So where we presently produce lots of manuals, I'm sure that in the fullness of time you'll be able to sit in your caravan and view them using club Wi-Fi on either your iPad, your tablet or your laptop, as more and more of our members do. And of course nowadays, with the youngsters coming through who have grown up in the digital age, they show their grandparents like me how to use the kit.
And they're the lifeblood of the industry for years to come, and they're not into magazines and stuff, they're absolutely into digital. Are there any innovations or any new developments in the club you're able to share with us today?
Well, I mean, the biggest ones are our new site developments. Strathclyde Country Park opened just a few weeks ago, and we've got 21 major projects undergo at the moment, the biggest of which is a brand new site at Stonehaven on the northeast coast of Scotland. It's just a stone's throw from the beach, absolutely beautiful, very easy to get to, just 5 minutes from the main trunk road heading up there, the A9, and it really is going to be another Bunbury, I think. It's another one where book early or you won't get it.
No, yeah. Well, talking about new developments, not that new anymore, but we went to the Bridlington site and that's doing very, very well. It's quite a busy spot.
It's a great spot. The Yorkshire coast is a lovely spot for holidays. My wife and I spent Christmas and New Year there the year before last. It was very breezy, very cool, but bracing and absolutely delightful. This year we went to Sandringham, which was wet, but being sandy, it drained very well, so we were okay. It's a great time.
Talking about wet, we were at Roundtree Park and we just managed to get in a couple of weeks either side of floods. I mean, it's been a very tough year from that point of view. Has that impacted on the
It's been
very wet?
Yeah, it's been a very challenging year. Of course, we've had not only sites out of action, Roundtree Park has been evacuated 3 times in 2012 and Tewkesbury Abbey twice. But on top of that, lots of sites have suffered waterlogged pitches, and sadly we've had to take some of them out of use. You can't put members in a quagmire.
You've no choice, have you?
No. Thankfully, we embarked a few years ago on a programme of installing hard standings, and that has really paid off in 2012. We have been able to use them, and members still get their holidays. But
yeah, and they work in all weathers. I mean, we're staying at Burrs, and all the pitches are available and functioning, even though it has been very wet, and of course now very, very cold. So if people, I would certainly say, I assume you feel the same way, that people should get out in the winter because sites
best time to go. Yeah, best time to go. Absolutely. You can see more without the leaves on the trees. Burrs is a stunning place at the best of times. There's some incredible wildlife up there, and if you're lucky, not this time of year, but a little bit towards the summer, you might see a magnificent kingfisher flying along the lake. Absolutely beautiful. I've witnessed them myself.
Right.
Glorious.
Anything at the show you've personally seen this year on exhibition or has come to the show this year that's particularly interested or excited you?
Yes, I think there is. I've been particularly impressed with the new construction method that Elders have introduced, the solid construction. I think that's another step forward. I think they've done very well to develop it. Yeah, impressive.
Thank you. Finally, anything you'd like to add, anything from the Caravan Club perspective to share?
Well, really, just to wish everyone a very happy new year and hope that they all enjoy their caravanning in some wonderful weather that I hope is going to last all the way through until November 2013. But we shall see. This is Britain.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.
Pleasure.